Hey guys, and welcome to Mobile Murder Mystery. This game is pretty much exactly how it sounds. And it's free, and it looks cool, and I'm very excited. It's supposed to be like 1 to 2 hours, I think, to see all the content, so let's just go. Play intro animation. Yeah! Well, I'm already impressed. That was sick. That was awesome. Unseen narrator. It's the second day of December. This time of year, I finish work way after the sun sets. Rain had been falling for a couple of days now, and it had been cold. Suddenly, between 3 and 4 in the afternoon, the icy showers had stopped, followed by a shivering dampness in the air. The sky is pitch black, and the gas lamps in the street seem bright enough to pierce through my eyes. I don't really register my way back home. The steps I take are all automatic. It takes me a few moments to find my keys. I guess my hands got numb from the cold. I keep fumbling for my keys for a while. When I'm inside, the familiar smell of moldiness fills my lungs. Most of these buildings have it. I think I've even grown to like it at this point. Next, I cautiously climb the stairs, trying to avoid my neighbors. Things have been silent lately, so I should be fine. As I enter, I think about nothing in particular. Today is the second day of December. This could be the first or the third. It's the same each day, really. Most of the time, I do two things: work, then rest at home. I usually go straight to bed, gradually sinking into a state of forgetfulness. I put my phone on silent mode and leave it on my desk. Then, I go to the bathroom, wash my face, and have a glass of water. Today, I feel sick and cold. My lungs are heavy and burning from the rainy weather. The next thing I know, I'm lying in bed. And soon enough, my consciousness starts to fade away. As my mind briefly leaves this place, it projects all sorts of forms and patterns in my head. The nature of these shapes would serve as a better introduction to who I am than I could ever hope to tell. At first, the phosphenes don't form anything. Tiny red dots litter my vision, almost too small to have color. They move and stay in place at the same time. If I'd open my eyes, they would remain. I've seen these familiar little shapes since I was 3. They always reminded me of cherries. I see heads, long lost and forgotten, stiff and lifeless. They all wear the universal expression of pain. I know they aren't real, but they still frighten me. What scares me the most is that their pain always seemed more genuine than that of the actual people living here. On second thought, they may be the same. The forms change again, and I see shades of deep blue, descending deeper and deeper, with floating spherical creatures filling the scene. My brain shuts down as I enter the realm of dreams. A soothing warmth envelops me. For a moment, I see a scene from my early childhood. It's a vague memory. The colors from way back seem brighter and more vivid. I try to hold on to this image, but the more I think about it, the more distant it becomes. I see a station leading into the sunset. There's nothing beyond the rails. They don't lead anywhere. I start to feel my throat aching again. I open my eyes to see the tiny red cherries gone. I'm back on the 2nd day of December, present time. This wasn't the rest I needed. I've just had the kind of sleep that leaves you feeling more tired than before. Tossing around in bed, trying to find a way to get back onto the station. Deep down, I wanted to leave. An unfamiliar glow shot up from my phone. A call. Right, I muted it. Who could that be? I nervously grabbed my device, which I mostly use to check the time. To my surprise, I see an unexpected name in my recent call history. It's one of the girls from work. Aglaya Kovacs. Oh god, like 4 times? I've had 4 missed calls from her in the past 2 hours. With phone in hand, I sit down on the edge of my bed. I guess I'm ready to call her back. After 4 rings, she receives my call. Hey. Sorry for calling you this late. At first, I wanted to leave a note on your table, but calling you directly seemed like the proper way to approach this for me. I've made up my mind, so there's no going back now. Today was my last day at work. I quit. I know that doing this without the 2-week notice is pretty unprofessional, but when I think about going to work tomorrow, I was restless. This has been building up inside me for a while now. At first, I had no intention of trying to stop her. She's made up her mind, after all. But as her boss, I should have something up my sleeve to counter her somehow. I should be paying attention to what she's saying, but as soon as I found out what this is about, my ears shut down in denial. She's still monologuing. Hearing her anxiously making up excuses makes me think. I'd really be in trouble if she quits out of the blue like that. I feel a sudden wave of dissatisfaction thinking about doing all the work on my own. Sure, letting her go without the 2-week notice period would be a nice thing. But without any time for preparations, I'd do double the work in peak season. With how understaffed we are, I might just quit after her in the end. Boss, are you still listening? What are your thoughts on this? I want to save, please. I like sound effects. I'm gonna let her go instantly. Yeah. I cut the guilt trip crap and wish her luck. Thanks for understanding. I know that I'm burning bridges this way, but you wouldn't believe me. I was so upset by this. Even now. To be honest, I'm walking all over the town. I just couldn't sit around until we settled this, you know? Maybe out of curiosity or to ease tensions, I ask about her plans for the future. Well, I have no idea. I'm thinking about leaving town. I mean, tonight. Her response surprised me. I explained to her calmly that the people who leave the city limits never return. As far as I know, there's nothing outside of the city, but an endless wilderness. Yeah, I've heard the stories. But it doesn't really matter in the end, does it? Don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound nihilistic. I mean, leaving through the city gates, never to return. It sounds pretty romantic, don't you think? I've had no idea Glaya was fostering such thoughts. Her reason for leaving is nonsensical. Fewer and fewer people have this kind of drive to leave. And yet, despite her leaving me in a slump, she surely brought a bit of color into my day. Look, I know I'm in no position to lecture you now. As I mentioned before, I have no idea what to do with my life from this point forward. Before I go, I just want to tell you something. When you sign up for a job, any job, there's really not much you can actually achieve. I mean, there isn't much that needs to be done, that's all I'm saying. Most of the business of day-to-day life takes care of itself. It runs ahead on its tracks, like it always used to, for as long as there have been people around. You just exist to watch it all unfold in front of you. Don't take it too seriously. I did, and I got trapped in it. I don't want it to happen to you too. I'm not sure what to say, so I wish her luck. I couldn't see her expression, but there was a smile there somewhere, hidden in that silent moment we shared. And just like that, my duties at work doubled. That's the least of my worries right now. It's not just the extra duty and me having a cold. I'm feeling restless. Aglaya's words stirred something within me that I can't yet understand. First things first. I need something to warm myself up. I slapped myself on the face and got up to make some tea. Before I know it, I'm back on autopilot. I put water in the kettle. I stop for a moment, deciding which tea to use. When I use up my favorite kind, I end up buying it first thing next day, so I never use up the other boxes. Still, I stop for a moment in front of the tea boxes, pretending that I have other options. It's just a part of my tea-making ritual. I pick my favorite, of course. Just before the water is ready, I feel a weird sensation in my throat. I instinctively look behind me. By the window, who is that? I feel watched. I see a sudden flash of light so bright I instantly shut my eyes. When the light is gone, I open my eyes, but all I can see is black. My eyes slowly adjust to the sudden changes. When I realize what's going on, all I can do is laugh nervously. This fever got me on edge, I'm telling myself. The kettle, the lights, they don't work anymore. It's just an ordinary blackout. I need my phone fully charged tomorrow morning for work. I have to search for my power bank in the dark. I was digging inside my drawer in silence when Aglaya disturbed me with yet another call. Hey, sorry for calling again. I forgot to tell you something important. I've left a loaf of fruitcake in the fridge at work. Well, let's pretend that I've left it there on purpose. You can have it. That's what I'm trying to say. I thank her half-heartedly and keep searching. Sorry, yeah, I do have a habit of calling at the wrong time. Oh, man, just look at the time. I'm already behaving like someone unemployed. I apologize for calling it a bad time. Do a little say. Thank you. It's okay. I had to keep telling her that I'm fine talking like this. We ended up chatting about all sorts of things. During the whole conversation, I could tell she's on the go. Footsteps, the breathing, the traffic noises, everything indicated that she's really leaving town. I tried skipping the matter, though, at least for a while. Despite the blackness of my room and my cold, this was the first time I've felt comfortable in a while. Like two teenagers finding unlikely calmness and opening up to each other, such was our talk. My droning days at work, the isolation, the dullness, everything evaporated in an instant. I knew very well how fragile these moments are, so I didn't ask why she was leaving so suddenly. one thing was sure. She was dead serious about leaving tonight. Ooh, and I see the battery on the phone lost a charge. I barely know anything about Aglaya, but I could feel clearly now that she's passionate like that. Hey, I know you're curious. It's alright, I'll tell you where I'm at. I'm on the west side of the residential district. It's very cold outside, but at least it's not that dark. The lights here saturate the streets with colors. I can't see a living soul around here, though. It's a few hours' walk until the outer gate. We can talk until then. Or until my phone battery runs out. With how dramatic her words sounded, it suddenly hit me in the head. Something about this conversation bothers me. I can understand how two people can connect in unexpected ways. But this is still odd. Why is she talking to me on the night of her disappearance? Shouldn't you be talking to your family or friends? I ask her. Don't look too much into it. If I had to give a reason why I'm talking with you, well, sometimes you just need a fresh perspective, that's all. When you start fresh, it gives you the feeling of progress. You can cover a lot of ground when starting anew. I've also discovered that expressing myself to those I love is often painful for me. I'm a tough person like that. There's just something with my close ones that's slightly out of my grasp. Feels like no matter how many times I talk to them, I can never close the gap between us. Sometimes it feels like we're standing on two opposite sides of a chasm. But this is a bit different. To me, we're just pleasant colleagues. We worked at the same place and fulfilled our assigned roles. It would feel the same with you if we were closer. This is the main reason I'm talking with you right now. As bad as it sounds, what I'm saying is, I'll be out of the city before we can get too close. That was a bit too blunt, sorry. Her tone dropped suddenly. I'll let you hang up soon. Bear with me for a few more minutes, please. I think I might be in danger right now. Just let's keep talking for a while. What's happening? Should I call for help? I asked her clearly in one swift breath. I'm at the edge of this weird block right now. There's a marked house out here. It should be silent, but someone is living here. Some lights are on. I can feel their presence watching me. Are you sure it's marked? Yeah, it's my first time seeing one, but I'm pretty sure. There shouldn't be lights then. Yeah, don't believe me then. Just don't hang up now, please. I'm passing through it. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm through. This place stank, I'm telling you. The air was evil. Look, I'm through that corner. I'll let you go now. Thanks for everything, really. We should wait a few more minutes to make sure you're safe. Alright. Thanks. Do you think that there's a bit of truth to what those weird preachers say? The one about buildings having souls. File 3. Not sure. I'm not so sure anymore myself. If it's true, that's one more reason for me to leave this place. I tried skipping the topic about the supernatural on purpose afterwards. We tried talking for a few more minutes, but we've lost the flow and couldn't get back to where we were. I knew it, and I'm pretty sure she felt it too. A new feeling also lingered in my mind. Maybe I've got too entangled in her affairs, and it started to wear me down. I felt a sudden desire to get away from the phone as quickly as possible. I was just about to say goodbye, but Aglaya was quicker. I've just received an unexpected call. I should be taking this. Thanks for talking to me. I will not forget this. I nod in silence. And we hang up. I still have a few hours left until tomorrow. I check the lights. still not working. I check the walls around me, still in place. As soon as I lie down, like a battery that's lost its charge, my consciousness fades away. I was surprised how easily I got up in the morning. My cold is getting better, and I'm feeling happy getting back to my routine. In the morning breeze of winter, I reviewed the events of the night before. My talk with Aglaya over the phone. Each sentence felt strangely distant. I spent a long time collecting my thoughts. Finally, I stopped in front of the store. I used up the last of my favorite tea filter this morning. Curiously, I wasn't feeling like drinking tea at all. I was zoning out, staring at the window. After a deep breath, I decided. Thank you. How many files do I have? Oh, I have a lot. I was worried I only had 5, and I was like, I don't know about that. Buy something else. Shake it up. I ended up buying a pack of cigarettes. Oh, I thought... Well, it is what it is. Smoking is not as popular as it used to be, but it's still an icebreaker when talking to people. I've always tried to maintain a proper distance. Opening up to others wouldn't hurt for a change. I know I have things to do, but I just keep looking up, staring at the clouds and such. I try to march on, but my drive to keep working simply evaporates. Something was gone now, and I was probably the one behind it. Maybe it's not such a bad thing, spacing out of work like this. For the first time in a long time, my walk to work is not automatic. Each step towards the building is as painful and deliberate as walking on nails. I take another slight detour and arrive 36 minutes late. I enter the building and start my shift. The workload without Aglaya is intense. Not to mention finding a replacement. I'll have to find some time for that, too. It's a bit too much. I fantasize about leaving like she did, so I finish way later than usual. She should be out of the city by now. That reminds me, she told me that she left some food in the fridge. Should I eat it? Okay. I say eat it, 'cause yum. I find a small loaf of fruitcake in the corner of the fridge. It feels dried out, but I finish it in 3 bites. The stale crumbs make my throat ache again. Is this a phone number in the wrapping? I already have her number. Never mind, I'll find a bin and throw it out later. I quickly stuff the wrapping into my pocket and decide to head home. For the first time, I couldn't get myself to finish my tasks. The air is cold tonight. Despite going in the right direction home, I stop at a building I've never seen before. The lights in the windows look paler than usual, passively staring at me like the faces of dead people. Is this even the right way home? I sift through each floor of the building in my mind. Until tonight, these buildings had meant nothing to me. Yet, in this moment, they all feel connected. There's a dark secret there, directly linking them to some warped logic. As I stare at the windows, I lose all sense of time. My throat keeps pulsating with pain as I keep looking at the tower. At one point, the pain in my throat gets unbearable, and I snap out of it. As my senses return, I notice that I'm shivering from the cold. I shouldn't be here. I'm feeling it in my gut. I trace my steps back, looking for the right path. I should be close to home. I somehow looped back to the street parallel to my apartment. My hands are trembling with cold as I search for my keys. Huh? Where's the house? It should be here. Standing still, I glance around. is this place? This doesn't make sense. I reach for my phone, but all I find in my coat is the wrapping with Aglaya's number. Have I forgotten to take my phone with me from work? I've got to stay rational. There's nothing left for me here. No matter how I hate it, I need to ask for help. I have to sleep somewhere tonight. Wandering around, knocking on doors, ringing bells, I find myself in an unfamiliar neighborhood, close to the edge of town. I could be imagining things, but the shape and the color of these buildings seem different from those I'm used to. Maybe the reason I walked this far is not so accidental. Am I running away? Having said it out, I feel elated, as if all of a sudden I've been set free. I stumble upon a telephone booth, and it drags me back to Earth. I could warm myself up a bit in there. The air inside smells faintly of sweat. Someone must have been here recently, as the receiver is still warm. I could rest inside the telephone booth for a minute or two. Save. This is very cool. I think here's my theory, is that these people live in, like, this weird, like, supernatural town that they don't really, like, realize that they're being, like, almost forced to live in, and they go through the same routine day after day after day. And then once someone, like, breaks free from that routine and kind of gets a semblance of, like, snapping out of it, they leave. And that's what happened to Aglaya, and she decided to call us for some reason. And now we're, like, kind of snapping out of the routine. To what end and to the details, I do not know. But I like it, but I think we should call Aglaya. The coins I put into the machine are cold as ice. The phone keeps ringing for so long that it might as well be an eternity. No answer. I'm gonna save again. I'm gonna try again. It took her a few tries or more to reach us, so... Still nothing. Try again. The ringing suddenly stopped. I could hear a faint buzzing sound from the other side. She only has one thing of battery left. A public phone now. Really? Please stop calling me. I told you 1,000,000 times I'm not coming back. Oh, it's you. Sorry for lashing out at you like that. I thought you were, someone else. Her usually calm, elegant voice sounded muddy and distant. Sorry for calling at a bad time. She paused for a moment, probably thinking what to say next. I could hear the wind playing in the air on the other side of the line. It made her words harder to hear. Nah, I mean, we can talk for a little while. My phone won't last long, though. The battery's almost dead. Are you out there? She paused again, briefly. I could feel a nervous excitement in her silence. Yes. I'm out here. Remember what I told you about me wanting to leave? I'm not so sure if that's what I really needed. Thinking about going back? You can come back to work with me anytime you want. I'm ashamed of this, but I tried going back the way I came. It's as if the city just vanished from here. I'm starting to feel like I don't understand the nature of this world. That's okay, though. It's not that bad. I'm just hungry. Very, very hungry. Don't you feel lonely out there in the wilderness? I mean, don't you? Honestly, it's all the same everywhere. The only difference here is that... How should I put it? It's dull, okay? Dull. Dull. Wouldn't you call the city dull, too? Maybe, but it's a different kind of dullness. Things flow in their own unique way here. It's a sad world, but I wouldn't call it a bad one. You could say you're closer to yourself here, on the grass. Wait a minute. Are you thinking about leaving that place too? I don't know. I don't feel like I belong here anymore. I knew you'd snap out of it one day. But you've changed sooner than I expected. What do you mean by that? It's just a feeling, but I think we're not so different, you and I. I'm just a little quicker and smarter to realize some of these things, that's all. Kidding, kidding. Jokes aside, it never ceases to amaze me how quickly our perspective on the world can shift. I'm not sure if I can change, or even if I want to. I can't find the glue that's supposed to stick it all together, Aglaya. I understand. But you've got to keep going forward. You want to know why I've left that place? Just to give you some perspective on things. Sure. For me, it was the little things, piling up. Not the grand things and absolutes, but the small daily struggles. They all add up and wear you down, little by little. And your soul burns out without you realizing it. When you realize, it's already too late. Your only option left is to run. To leave it all behind. I'm ranting too much, sorry. This is starting to feel like a confession of sorts. I guess I feel a little bit of guilt for leaving my family behind. Thanks for lending an ear. You know, if you'd told me these things a few days earlier, I would have thought that you were living in a fantasy. And maybe you do, I don't know. But your words are genuine. I can feel your passion. She let out a tired sigh over the phone. Thanks. You know, maybe we could talk until I run out of juice. Wish I could tell you more about this place. About the things people usually say about it. What is true and what is not. Things like that. The truth is, I still don't know anything about all of that. All I really focused on was looking at my battery and thinking about all the people I should have called. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something else to her departure, too. Something hidden, something demented, like a heavy anchor that was weighing down on her soul. I never dared to ask her about it, fearing that it would break this unspoken bond between us. I know that it was selfish to drain all her battery, but I wanted to keep talking with her. And I think that our conversation calmed her down a little bit. She interrupted my thoughts with her distant, scrambled voice coming through the landline. Look, if you decide to leave, there are a few things you should be aware of. First of all, common knowledge is, keep walking to the edge. It's kind of true, but there's a catch. The way to leave is to take the streets that loop back into the city. You may find this weird, but there are no guards or the like around the gates either. It's like a cheap trick. The real roads that lead outside are the ones that visibly loop. Some of them, at least. The others? Well, when you think you're right on track, they curve back in last minute for some reason. Thanks for the advice. No problem. Just stay calm and keep going. You'll know it when you're there. Oh, wanted to ask you before. Your phone died too? What's with this weird number? I left it at work. It's not that big of a deal. My home is gone, though. What? The street I live on. Something changed. Changed? I'm not so sure. I should have looked into it more. Did you like it there? What do you mean? Living there. Was it good? I don't know. I don't think I've really thought about that. Is that even a factor to consider? Huh? Of course it is. You know what? Good riddance. I'm glad you've lost that place. You can start fresh now. I wish you the best. I really do. But please, think for yourself from now on. It's time. Switching off soon. Farewell, boss. Good luck finding your new place. asked to meet outside. Look, aren't you afraid out there on your own? What kind of question is that? I could feel her heart freeze for a second. Do you really want to know? Yes. I've never been this scared in my whole life. I've just recently discovered how important phones are. I mean, you never call anyone, but the option is always there. Helps you feel less... Aglaya, can I join you for a while? Come again? Would you like me to meet you out there? I'm not sure. It would be nice, but I can't promise you anything. It's really vast out here. Okay, I mean, I don't want to force it. No, it's not that. I'm afraid that if we decide to meet up, it would be harder. Like, what if we can't find each other? Honestly, it would just scare me more. Maybe I should just let this place take me. Are you sure about that? I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to find any landmarks. Let me say this, though. I will light fires when I can, to keep myself warm. If you notice the smoke, feel free to join me. Just don't promise we'll meet or anything weird like that. Okay, that works for me. Stay safe, Aglaya. Thank you. You too. I'm going off the grid now. On my way to the border, I'm dragging myself through districts I've never seen before. Truth be told, I'm scared. I've run out of options, and facing the unknown is all I can do now. At times, I reach major intersections that lead straight out of town. I don't let them trick me. I'm taking all the detours, all the dead ends, all the curves leading back. The infrastructure is so abstract and artificial that I'm not even sure people live behind those windows anymore. I guess it doesn't matter in the end. Each of those windows is a distant world anyway. Places I could never visit. I've reached the border. Beyond it, all I can see is darkness. After hearing all the hearsays and whispers about it, well, I must say the sight is quite underwhelming. There are no gates, no walls, nothing. It's just as if the city stopped generating itself at a random point. Nothing is stopping me from walking through. I just walk right past the threshold. After stepping through, I was enveloped in total darkness. I could still be home during a blackout for all I know. But something really is different out here. I couldn't point it out for the longest time, but it suddenly struck me. I can't feel the heavy stillness that shrouds the city out here. It's the feeling of something fresh, something new, and it keeps me going for a while. At one point, my adrenaline runs out due to the constant stress my body is under. As I lay down on the ground, cushioned by a lush layer of cold moss, I finally notice. I've never been in a forest before, and my mouth is completely dry. Everything is alive and breathing out here, and I think I'm dying of thirst. I curl myself into a tiny ball, shivering, with the slim hope of not freezing to death. All around me is wet from rain, and I have no idea how to start a fire. Without giving my situation another thought, my consciousness drifts away. I don't dream. It's as if my mind stops being for God knows how long. I wake up starving, drenched in sweat, looking at the sunset. I must have slept for a whole day. Before long, the silhouettes of these giant trees blend into black once again. My priorities changed before I knew it. The enthusiasm for finding her dwindled in an instant. I needed food. I needed water. I needed shelter. I had to learn how to forage and look out for myself. I found a pond with fresh water. It even had some fish and frogs in it. But most of the time, I only ate berries and small bugs. Time was passing. It was around springtime when I reached the end of this vast, never-ending forest. The wild open space of the new landscape has sown a fresh hope in my heart. It changed me. My entire existence in the wilderness was one of undignified survival, or that's how I saw it, until now. However, around this time, I began developing a deeper sense of intimacy, a silent harmony within myself. Along with my pain, I've achieved a feeling of closeness with the natural simplicity of my new life. This dreamlike step became my new home. The space that surrounded me was so vast that, in time, it completely dissolved me as a human being. My soul tamed and free of worry, my mind expanded to fill the entire landscape. I thought my growth was over, and I could have died happily living like this. But one day, I saw smoke in the air. My vast expanse quickly shrank back to its original form. No longer the sole spectator of the land, I became a human being again in an instant. It was a curse and a blessing. Below the misty morning sky, I could see a thin frame. At first, I was taking slow and cautious steps towards her. I feared that by rushing to her, I might break this delicate mirage and she'd vanish. My heart was racing. Once more, I've become weary of the future. Finding her out here, I feel like I've lost something. When she takes her first glance at me, I stop in my tracks. Her hair is standing out in odd directions. She could not wash it for a long time. The skin around her eyes is wrinkled by insufficient sleep. I stared right into her eyes, but they told me nothing. They were windows to an unreachable world. Our connection over the phone, was it not genuine? I thought about walking away without saying a word. Is this really the person I was hoping to find? Not sure what to say, I sit down next to her. We end up staying silent, staring at the fire together. The tranquility, the stillness, all faded in an instant when I first saw her. And I admit that for the first time in a while, I was afraid of losing something unspoken, something dear inside me. But I'm relieved now. Sitting here together, she wriggles just a little bit closer to me. And I feel a new warmth. Without saying anything, she gives me a warm, delicate smile. She proudly gestures her face towards the fire. I don't know what the future will bring. It's not for me to know. What I do know is that for the first time in a long while, I'm not alone anymore. Ending Wilderness Route B. Okay, that was a super interesting ending. I kinda am curious about what the others might be, though. Okay, so there's not a lot of stuff about the game online, because it is, like, a free little indie game, but there is a guide that someone posted to all the endings they were able to find, and there's literally, like, 12 endings in this. Huh? That's crazy. So I do want to kind of try and see what at least some of them look like, if not all of them, since I have the guide pulled up. I should be able to start, and then I can skip the intro animation. And then I can kind of skip through a little bit. And hopefully, because this first ending, it basically, they ordered it as like kind of the worst endings towards the better endings. So this first one makes her work for 2 more weeks. which is definitely not what we did. So this will probably have a lot of different options. So make her work for 2 more weeks. I tell her that without her help, we couldn't handle this month. Not to mention the trouble of finding a replacement. Yeah, I get that. If that's your answer and it's final, I get that. But I can still just stop going to work when it all comes down to it. I try keeping my cool and tell her that she's right, but she'd give me a lot of trouble that way. Look, I know work would be challenging without me. I just have a lot on my mind. I suppose what I'm doing isn't fair after all. So, yeah, I'll try my best to hold my end of the bargain. I'm on your team for 2 more weeks. And thanks. It was the workplace I've hated the least, and that's on you. If there's anything else I can help you with, I tell her automatically. Nah, don't worry. Gly's breathing was heavy. It was clear that she was on the road. From the way she was gasping for air, I've had a feeling that she's not on a pleasant evening stroll. I'm pretty sure she has her own problems, and I don't want to push her too hard. But it feels like I have no other options. I tell her that these 2 weeks will pass by swiftly. I thank her for her work and hang up, just before the silence gets awkward. I don't know what the deal is here, but it's not my burden to bear. I have enough problems as is. I'm feverish, I need some rest, and tomorrow I've got to try looking for a replacement. I could print some advertisements about the job and post them on the notice boards around town. It breaks up my usual routine. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I've had some trouble after that night, or later that night. Spent an eternity in this half-dream, half-waking state. My instincts were sending constant alarms to my brain, and I've had a vague feeling that something was watching me. I tried breaking the spell by reaching for the lamp, but it wasn't working. In the end, my mind faded into a shallow sleep. I started the next day early. It was a bright, chilly morning with clear skies. Aglaia was in the office while I posted pamphlets about the opening position everywhere I could. I enjoyed this sudden change of pace in its own way at first. Even my cold was getting better after having some fresh air. But each time I glued a pamphlet to one of the message boards, it reminded me of something. I hate to admit it. Even though I don't know her very well, I have started developing a specific sentimental feeling towards Aglaia. I can't describe it with words. You could call it nostalgia before it even occurs. This feeling grew bigger and bigger with each pamphlet I left around the city. I have no idea why I feel this way. It's simply that I enjoy these unchanging days, and she's a part of that, in a way. By her leaving, I feel like she's moving on in life to her next goal, while I stay the same, stuck in mud. I usually don't care about such things, but this morning is different. Her sudden resignation sparked a crisis of self within me. I started feeling that the real reason I make her work for a little longer is to keep the sameness. This thought frightened me. After some guilt-fueled lamentation, I decided not to dwell on it further. I can see the lamps flaring up in the distance. What time is it again? I realize that half the day has already passed. I try to check back into the office to finish something else, but the nearest road leading to it is closed for the day. Today is the 3rd day of December, and it wasn't like the day before, nor will it likely be the day after it. Aglaia Kovacs is leaving in 2 weeks. Aglaia Kovacs, who broke the sameness. And now unexpected things will happen, leading to more unexpected things. Who will be my new colleague? Can I really find anyone new? I mean, these days it's hard to find people. In their absence, I looked at the buildings for answers, and they looked back at me. Around this part, I knew them well. Each had its own personality. No, that's not the best word. Auras, maybe. Something like that. These auras grew stronger over time, I think. I swear, one of these days they might even start speaking to me. My thoughts got interrupted when my shoes got wet inside a deep puddle. I checked the time on my phone and saw that Aglaya called me again, some 20 minutes ago. I'd better call her back. Hello? Hey. Sorry, I haven't heard you calling. It's okay. So, I'm in the office. Someone was looking for you in here. That's why I called. Do you have any idea who they might have been? It was a man in a gray suit. He was in a hurry. I couldn't have a good look at him. He shoved an envelope into my hand, told me to give it to you, and that you'd know what to do with it. Before I could have asked him anything, he was gone. I wonder who that could be. Did he seem like trouble? Trouble? Why? Are you in danger? I don't think so. Just asking. Okay, I'll leave it on your desk then. So, how's the poster thing going? Any luck yet? Actually, I think it's going well so far. That's good news. Okay, message delivered. You'll find your envelope on the table. Wish you luck out there. I'll wrap up the work for today. I tell her that I'm grateful for her work and we hang up. What I don't tell her is that someone's been chasing me around. Chasing is a dramatic word, but sometimes, when I walk home at night, I can feel someone staring at me from a distance. It's just a feeling, for the most part, but I do believe that such intuitions always stem from a real place. And now I feel like the man in the gray suit is connected to all this. I thought about going home, but my steps took me somewhere else. I couldn't let it go, so I went to the office to get the message that Aglaya had mentioned. I thought this would calm me down, but honestly, I've had no idea what to think of it. All I found on my desk was a plain, white, baronial-style envelope. And it had nothing inside it. I've left it on my desk with a bunch of other paperwork that I'll never have time to finish at this rate. Then, I took my usual way home. At home, I've made a quick meal and eaten it in silence. I've made some glances towards my phone, in case someone calls me about the job. Let's just say that I hope to have better luck next time. With nothing left to do, I went to sleep. I spent the next 2 weeks balancing all these new variables in my life. I also started looking for clues about the man in the gray suit. It quickly turned into some hidden perversion. I felt eyes watching me on every corner. I've also hidden the envelope, as if it were some vital evidence in a crime I could have committed. I also destroyed some of the evidence, the ones that may have had relevance to the case. The case. Was it just a new way to occupy my mind, now that Aglaya is gone? I should have focused more on work. I really need to find someone new, but I also have a lot of work to do. I can't do both. I have to choose between the two. What does the guide say? Keep working! Working on everything myself, my life changed rapidly. I've spent whole weeks trying to keep my head above the water. It was a new kind of stress, something that I was not used to. Sure, I could quit any time, but somehow that idea seemed worse than this. That would have meant confronting what I want to do with my time. I'm not ready for that. That's what I've kept telling myself as time flowed forward. I've also started seeing fewer people on the streets. Somehow, I had a feeling that I could stop working altogether, and no one would notice my absence. If I could bring myself to stop, I don't think that anyone would call me up late at night to tell me I'm fired. Still, stopping is out of the question. One night, my fixation with work reached the point where I couldn't bring myself to go home. Surely no one would kick me out of the office for sleeping there. Why would they? I was making good progress after all. Without anyone else around, new assignments did not appear out of the blue, so I found myself enjoying work at a leisurely pace. On one such night, I noticed something. Something was swirling inside the envelope from the man in the gray suit. Slowly, I tried feeling it out with my hands. It was the same thing that Aglaya mentioned over the phone a while back. Should be empty. At least it was, last time I checked. I feel anxious about this. Maybe I should toss it out. And I'm supposed to open it. I've decided to open it. Let's see. Is it a photo? Ooh. Ooh! Are these ants? I stopped for a moment. The insects are creeping everywhere. Oh. Aglaya? She looks different from what I remember. Wasn't her hair a different color? Never mind. This is her, alright. That's what I think. I should clean up this mess. I hope I'm not... No. I won't even say that. Everything is fine. I'm making good progress with work. It's alright. Maybe I should try calling her? To make sure. You never know what this creep in the gray suit is capable of. Whatever the case may be, I don't want to work anymore. I need time to think this through. I wanted to get away as fast as possible. The sun is just setting, rising, whatever. I'm not sure. I tried calling Aglaya to warn her, but I couldn't find her number in my phone at the moment. Now, what piece of the puzzle am I missing here? I shouldn't have opened that envelope. I found myself getting further away from the office. The more streets I've had between me and that place, the less pain I felt. It looks peaceful out here. Is this a park? That bench looks inviting. Should I sleep on it? I think I'm supposed to keep walking. Yeah, keep walking. Before long, I've found myself walking in districts that I've never been to before. I should be at home or at work, doing what I'm always doing. I feel out of place here. Yet, something is comforting in that. I wonder if I'm running away. A few more hours at this pace, and I could easily reach the edge of town. Started meditating on what could be out there, over the edge. All I know for sure is that some people migrate there when they have nowhere else to go. I still have ambitions in life, or so I think. My march came to a sudden halt when I realized how hungry I was getting. At this moment, the silence of the night was taking over. Guess I could have looked for a diner on my walk out here. Hey! Is that an actual human being down there? The voice was echoing through the empty streets. I'm up here! The sound was coming from the top of a tall, cylindrical building. I couldn't find the exact source of the voice, though. What on earth are you doing down there? Don't tell me you're deaf or something. Come on up, let's talk. Should I go along with it? Sounds fishy to me. And for the ending I'm going for, I have to keep walking. I turned away from the figure. I've heard some shouting from the roof before the streets fell silent again. My single-minded quest for getting further away from work continued, alone. In the middle of the night, my stomach started to burn with pain. First, I thought it was just the regular effects of hunger. I had grown accustomed to it by this point. During my never-ending shifts over the last couple of weeks, it was common for me to neglect my basic needs. No, this must be something else. There was another source of pain inside me, even more primal than an empty stomach. It was the fear of being watched. It wasn't the cold, remote stare of the marked stone buildings either. Living in the city my entire life, I was used to that. This was something new, a creeping, intense kind of intimate stare. For a while, I thought it would be better to ignore it and show no interest. As I've walked the streets, I've made a little theory in my head to calm myself. It won't bother me if I mind my own business and stay calm. But the truth is, I don't have any business being here in the first place. I'm just running away from something deep within me. When I realized how truly lost and alone I was feeling, my legs started to shake. Was it really that hard for me to change while I've had the chance? I'm truly lost. I can see a dark street in front of me. The street lights are no longer working here. Must be another blackout. The only sort of light is coming from a car in the distance. There is not a single living soul in sight, not even the running car. The humming of the engine fills the empty street. Suddenly, a splashing sound breaks the silence. What is that? What is that? Something in the distance has locked eyes with me. Is this the source of my fears? I don't think so. There's something more at play here, just beyond the border of reason. I found myself staring back at the figure. There's no use in running away from myself anymore. This thing, the lesser of two evils. If I look hard enough, I might see the strings of fate fiddling on it. It's closed the gap between us in an instant. The massive jaw revealed a stinking, rotting odor. My fight or flight kicked in. For a moment, I was fighting for my life. I want to think that we killed each other. In truth, I have no idea what happened. It was all too fast to follow. I'm pretty sure that I bit back. I've had rabid patches of fur, wet with mud in my mouth. When the hot blood poured into my eyes, the ringing wouldn't stop. Damn the ringing. I could swear that it sounded like Aglaia calling again. Ending mirror. That was an ending. I was reading from like the dev and stuff that basically their intention was to have any and all of the endings be very like open-ended. Like you kind of decide as the player what the endings mean. So really it's just a game for theorizing. Like you get an ending and you kind of try to patch it together as much as you can. To me, I feel like a lot of it is very just like metaphorical. Like the first ending I got, going into the wilderness and then finding her and stuff, it almost feels like sort of like a metaphorical journey of, you know, being in the routine of day to day and sort of like losing your individuality and yourself, and then something snaps you out of it and you're able to kind of like let go and be free and even find company in freedom. You know, the work grind and like stuff like that, it can really like be horrible on someone's soul, you know? So it feels, to me at least, that first ending I got, it feels like that's, to me, kind of what it means. The second one, mirror, and then it's a lot more vague. It's a lot more like, I'm not sure what to make of it. Like with the ants in the picture and stuff, you could, at least to me, a theory that I had when I took out the picture and had the ants and stuff, and then comparing stashing the letter away and stuff and watching eyes, it feels almost like Telltale Heart-ish, you know what I mean? Like, what if in his sort of stupor and Aglaia coming back for work and stuff, what if at the end of her 2 weeks he actually killed her? And that letter with the ants and stuff is sort of symbolic of that. And he, like, barely even recognizes her anymore. He's like, was her hair different? Like, I swear her hair was a different color. It doesn't look like her. It doesn't look like how, like, he recognizes her or they recognize. It's not even gendered. I just say he because, like, I'm playing. So I'm, like, thinking of it as myself. But maybe that's it. And then in the end, it's, like, almost facing his own inhumanity, his own monstrosity. And maybe he ends up, like, killing himself. And that's kind of what that scene was. And even saying, like, it almost sounds like Aglaya's calling me again. Like, that could be a sign of guilt, sort of like Telltale Heart, like hearing the heart under the floorboards, like that sort of thing. That's the most concrete theory I can think of for that ending. I'm not sure what else it could be. So if you have a theory, let me know. Otherwise, I don't think I want to get all of the endings, because there's so many, and it's so dependent on your choices that I would urge you to play the game yourself and sort of see what you get and interpret it the way you would like to interpret it. I will say, though, there is one ending I definitely want to get, because people said it was one of their favorites, and there's even, like, another character, and it looks like it's the one that calls down to us from the building, and it leads to another ending. So I definitely want to see what that one's about. And I think capping it at, like, 3 different endings is nice. It's also cool because the endings are labeled as, like, ending, work route A, work route B, route C, route D, route E, and then porcelain, route A, route B, route C, wilderness, route A, route B. But the other endings, the one we just got, Mirror, has its own name. And then this other one is called Rosa, R-O-Z-A. And that has its own name as well. So I'd like to sort of get the 2, like, special endings, if that makes sense. But I won't be getting any of the porcelain endings. Whatever those are. But the Rosa one, I can certainly get to. I think... Where did my last save file even end up? Okay, no. That was in the other route. I didn't save or anything because I could just skip through. So, okay, I'm gonna skip through until we get to that point because it's all the other same choices. Make her work for 2 more weeks, keep working, open the letter, keep walking, and then going up to the mysterious figure. So I will see you when I get there. Okay, we've made it. We're going up. I'm coming up. No funny business. Cool. Which floor? I'm on the roof, dummy. Coming up. Wait. You got any on you? What? My throat was getting sore from the sudden shouting. Ah, forget it. Come on up. I found an empty reception desk on the ground floor. No staff in sight, of course. Ah, great. The elevator isn't working. Just how tall is this? 20 floors? It took me a long while to climb the stairs. Halfway through, I started to lose my breath. This is stupid. What am I doing here anyway? By the time I got up to the top floor, I wanted to punch whoever made me climb all these stairs. Found a rusty metal ladder leading up. The latch opened up effortlessly. The music. A cold gush of air hit me on the head. Thousands of pale, golden lights lay scattered on the ground below, under a starless sky. Stranger! Over here! Come on, check this out. Give me a second. Let me catch my breath. Take your time. The view is not going anywhere. The shadowy figure does not bother to turn towards me. With a gaze fixed on the view, she takes a deep, exaggerated breath. I take slow, cautious steps forward. Nice view, huh? Shh, don't answer that, please. You're joking, right? Damn, you just had to ruin my moment. I mean, our moment. Did you make me climb all those stairs for this? To experience the not talking together? question. I don't know. I mean, most people just run away when they hear me shout. Never got this far. Weird, right? Is that weird? This was the first person I've met in a while. The cheap bottle of booze she had gave her a funny, almost helplessly bland aura. Her nose was busted, and she's had way too much perfume on her. The cologne she used came together with a heavy fragrance of tobacco, all bleeding in to give her a unique scent. Something that I can only describe as the taste of a juniper bush or something like that. Well, you've asked me to join you, so what are you doing up here? Well, what were you doing down there? Ah, never mind. You know what? I don't want to know. Back to your question. I came up to smoke and drink. I ended up living here for the time being, so make yourself at home. I looked around, trying to find a good enough excuse to get out of here. Are you okay? You look like you just killed somebody. What? Booze talking, sorry. But you truly look horrible. Here. Have a drink. It'll help you look better. To me, at least. Alright. Thanks. Don't mention it. The sudden taste of strong, cheap palinka punched me. It burns all the way down, filling my empty stomach. My host watches my suffering in quiet amusement. I try not to cough, but it's useless. She patiently waits for me to recover. After I take another quick sip, she clears her throat, readying her voice to speak. Okay, stranger, you're all right. We can talk for real. See those stupid cars down there? That's what annoys me. These days, the hate keeps me going, I think. What's with that look of yours? No, I mean, just shut up and look at me, dear stranger. Hear me out, please. Just try to see it my way. All these tiny cars down there, they should have some tiny people in it, Driving around, going to places, being important, whatever. Have you ever had the chance to stop a car and simply talk to the person driving it? No, of course not. Why would you? Why would you jump out in front of a car and try to make small talk, right? That's stupid. And yet, this place is full of roads, and they all lead to nowhere. Yeah, what's your point? Okay, I'm wasted. Call it what you like. My point is, it's not about the connection anymore. That's not a factor here, and it's killing me. This must be some personal hell. That's what I've been thinking. A punishment for my sins, that kind of thing, whatever. You know. But here you are. With you in the picture, it's not all about me. See? This is connection. This is empathy at work. Let's go. Talk to me, stranger. Please, talk to me. How was your day? Tell me all about yourself. You know, what's your name again? Rosa. Call me Rosa. Rosa, you know, I thought that you were a bit too crazy and annoying just a few seconds ago. But you have a point. Rosa smiled back at me with what I can only describe as a tired grimace beyond care. She was silent for a second. She was about to open her mouth, but I was quicker this time. You said you live up here? She looked at her bottle briefly before speaking up. Yeah, I do. But it's a long and boring story. I could, maybe cut it short and make it sound like it's cool and interesting. Would you, listen to my ramblings if I do that? I chuckled and gave her a nod. She was an intense person to be with, but it was refreshing to be with someone for a change. Sure thing, Rosa, but before you do, pass me your bottle, okay? Okay, sure. I like that. Yeah, that's the spirit. Anyway, that life, that place down there, you know? It's not for me anymore. It's just not my life to live. So I came up to jump down. No, don't look at me weird like that, like you're mad at me for giving up. I didn't, okay? I'm here, you see? I'm fighting my own thing, my own way. So, anyway, first, I told myself that this fence is too high to climb over, and that I'm afraid of heights. I can't jump down like that, yes? I thought about just going to a store and getting a wire cutter, whatever it's called, to cut the fence. Then I thought about the money I'd need to buy the tools. Needless to say, I don't have that kind of money. That made me think about stealing one from the hardware store. It made me feel embarrassed, you know? I know it might sound wild, but I've noticed something. Even through the numbness, I still cared. I was still feeling things. I was way too self-aware to get into trouble with stealing, and I was afraid of heights. Long story short, I couldn't jump. So here I stand. I can't get myself to go down anymore. The cars, all those phantom lives, the concrete, and the cold stares through all those closed curtains. I'm fed up with it. I'm good here in the middle. I could come down if I feel like it. I could jump down if I feel like it. I probably won't do either of those things. But the option is there. The choice is there. That's good enough for me. And you know what? She quickly snatches the bottle out of my hands and takes a sip. I just love the view from up here. And maybe, just maybe, I'm happier now than I've been in a really long time. This thing I have, I don't want to involve you in this. This is my burden alone, but I'm glad I could share it with someone. Sometimes that's enough. Damn. I always end up talking about boring stuff when I drink. Boring? What are you talking about? You're a good listener, huh? Kinda luck, huh? Just when I thought I'd have some interesting company, I end up with a listener. I don't know what to say to that. She shows her silent, sadistic smile once more. Without saying a word, I take the bottle out of her hands and take a sip. We ended up staring down at the city in total silence together. Rosa looked tired. There was no sign of her stopping our little party. She had finished countless cigarettes on the way down to the bottom of the bottle. I didn't want to break our calming silence, but something was troubling me. For a little while, I could sense an uneasy feeling in the air. When I asked her if I could join her for a little while, both of us sighed with relief. After all this time, I still don't know much about her. I wouldn't call it love, but we have a system that's working for now. One day, I even managed to bring her down to the lobby, but she stays on the top floor most of the time. Each night, we find ourselves on the rooftop, staring blankly at the sky. Okay, I liked that. I liked being able to find someone and, like, sort of seeing that there's, like, another way to live in this odd existence that they occupy. Like, I still don't really know what's up with the city and stuff. It feels like there's so much of it that's just, like, dead. It's just unoccupied. It's just there. It's set dressing. And then, yeah, you break free from the cycle. But what is there for you there, really? Like, you know, Rosa kind of had it figured out where she sort of broke from the cycle. And she's like, I was just gonna end it all, but I found something that works for me. And I really like that she mentioned choice. She's like, I could come back down from here if I wanted to by, you know, deciding to sort of reintegrate, or I could jump down. But she's like, I like being here because I have either choice. Like, a choice is presented to me. Whereas if you're stuck in the endless cycle, you don't have that choice. You don't have any choice. You just keep doing what you're doing over and over every day. So I like her character for that, and it presents like there are choices. Because it's like, what do you do in that kind of environment? Like, I guess, you know, you could go the wilderness route and sort of leave bounds of the city and see if it gives you any type of freedom, any type of peace. Which I think probably depends on the ending. I don't know, because there's I think 2 wilderness endings or something, and I only got the one. So I don't know what the other one would be, but I do like that. I also think my theory for the other ending is supported by her being like, looks like you just killed somebody. Maybe I did. Maybe I did kill Aglaia. And again, my theory with that mirror ending and stuff, that's my best theory, and I'm sticking with it, okay? Because if the dev is like, you come to your own conclusions, then that's my conclusion, okay? To me, because she broke the sameness and the security that we had, we sort of went a little insane and ended up killing Aglaya at the end of her 2 week. And we sort of just didn't register that because she was gonna be gone anyway. And then the picture, you know, there wasn't a picture until after Aglaya left, and it had the ants and stuff. And yeah, and then Rosa saying, oh, it looks like you just killed somebody. Like, because we would have killed Aglaya at that point as well, because we had already, like, left work and opened the picture and stuff. So if that's the case, yeah, it could have happened. I'm just saying. But, yeah, I think this ending, the Rosa ending, is definitely one of the more, like, peaceful ones. Like, we kind of find company and a way to break out of the monotony and a way to break out of sort of the prison that we reside in. Even if it's in a very simple way. Just the company of one other person looking out at the rest of society. Like, you know, you just exist, but you have choices. Like, there's a break from the monotony, and you get to have some semblance of free will and choice. So, I like that. But yeah, definitely, if you like the vibe of this game, go check it out, because there's a billion endings, which is super impressive. I really like that. And I like that all these other endings have such different interpretations and vibes. Like, it's not, like, kind of the same overarching story over all the endings. It's very different depending on which route you go, which is very impressive narratively, I think. I love the pixel art. I'm a pixel art slut. I love pixel art, okay? So that's a given. I do think that the title Mobile Murder Mystery is almost misleading, though, because it, like, doesn't fit the game to me. It feels, because Mobile Murder Mystery to me feels like it should be, like, almost a literal title where it's like, oh, somebody died and it's a mystery and you gotta find that out. But that does also, I mean, the title of the game also sort of supports my theory. Murder? Did I kill Aglaya? I'm just saying. But I don't know. I feel like the title could have been different for the game. I don't know how well it fits the story and the tone, but, like, that's a nitpick. Who am I to say? I didn't make the game, but that's just me. But yeah, I'll link it down in the description to wherever you can find it. It's really impressive. I did also see in Steam that the animation from the beginning and stuff was done by the person who did them for the milk inside a bag of milk inside a bag of milk game, which is very popular and I have not played yet, but I will. I'll get to it, I swear. That and the sequel. I'll get to it. But I'm aware of the game, and apparently the same artist, yeah, did the stuff for it. So, no wonder the beginning animation was so cool. I really loved that beginning animation. Really, really cool stuff. But yeah, really cool game. I personally really love games that are very vague and open to player interpretation. Like, there's no set interpretation. There is no set, you know, confirmed story. You get to decide as the player what the story means to you, which could be different depending on who you are. And, like, you know, what life experiences you've had and how you interpret the words. I love stuff like that. This is a tangent, but I've talked to my boyfriend about this a couple times because we see media in different ways. And I personally like if a movie or a show or a game does not have a solid and intended ending or interpretation, because I like putting it into the hands of the person experiencing the media to sort of put their meaning onto it. I like that sort of stuff. Best movie example I have is the movie Angel's Egg. If you have not watched that movie, it is so cool. It is the definition of atmosphere. It's amazing. It's like what is in the 80s, like, animated anime film that has barely any dialogue, and it's, like, vibes based. It's so good. I own it on Blu-ray. I saw it in theaters when it released back in November, I think it was. First time it's ever been in theaters. It like changed my brain chemistry when I saw it in theaters. Because it was really the first movie I've seen that was so ridiculously open. Like, nothing really makes sense when you watch the movie, and you have to sort of like read what other people say or come to your own conclusions, and the ending really depends on who you are and what you think. Because the ending could mean a billion different things, because there is no set ending. You don't know what the movie means. You don't know what the story means. Dude who created the movie was like, I don't know what it means. And I'm like, I think that's fire. If the creator is like, it means something different to me, it'll mean something different to you. I like stuff like that, but my boyfriend is not that same kind of person. He likes something that is very concrete, and it tells you a story, and by the end, you understand that story that's being told. And it's not open to interpretation. Like, there is a clear start point and an end point, and you've experienced everything to get there. Which I get. It's very much, like, up to someone's taste. It's like, me, I like vague stuff, and I like things like that. Other people don't. That is not, like, a how dare you kind of statement. That's just, like, me saying that I like this game because of that is because I am who I am as a person, and I just like stuff like that, where it's very vague and open-ended, and you decide what it is to you. So, if that's not your jam, that's fine. That is fine. It doesn't have to be everyone's jam, but it is mine. So, really enjoy this game. I'm gonna stop yapping because I've said my piece, but I love games like that. So, and movies and shows like that. So, if you have any recommendations that have that vibe, please let me know. I'll eat that shit up. But yeah, that is gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, especially if you made it this far. If you did make it this far and you're not subscribed, it would mean a lot if you did. It would make me very happy. Like I said, you got any recommendations for games that you want to see me play? Leave those down in the comments. I will get to it as soon as possible. If I have any interest in it whatsoever, it'll shoot up to the top of my priority list, and I'll get to it, probably next video, or if I'm doing a long series, as soon as I can. But otherwise, you can go ahead and like the video if you liked it, share it with everybody and everybody if you so choose, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.